little school of theology. I went to a young lady from West Virginia, never forget her. She was the first one I said, let us not become so heavenly minded that we're no earthly good. So to be able to look back at Jesus on the Mount of Transfiguration with his chief disciples, and they wanted to stay up there because it was so edifying, it was so joyous being in this close relationship with he who was their Lord and Savior. And he turns around and tells them, we've got to leave this mountain, we've got to go to the valley. Our mission is back down. This is where the challenge is, back in the here and the now.
His idea is you had to take the message outside of the walls of the church. You had to get it out into the streets where people were in need of a message, in need of hope, in need of being uplifted, and that was his idea.
Both of our parents were from Barbados, and most of the parents that were from the West Indies during those days wanted their children to do something. They wanted you to be something big, so that was always preached to us. You got to do this, you got to do that, you got to,
Michael tells us to be productive, but he was told to be productive. His mother used to say, with her Barbadian accent, don't live beneath your privilege. Use your talents, cultivate your gifts, do something.
One of the things I try and say to my kids every day as they were growing up, and I still say to them, at the end of the day, take a look in the mirror. Ask yourself one question: did I make someone else's life better today? If the answer to that is yes, you've had a good day. I don't care what else happened. And those are things that were sort of instilled in me as I was growing up. And again, a lot of that came from Reverend Haynes. And it wasn't so much of him saying it, it was watching what he did. I mean, the role modeling was just terrific. He had a partner, I'll call him his partner, Jeep Jones, who actually later became the deputy mayor of the city of Boston. But it seemed to me that when we were young, they were everywhere. They were just everywhere. We go to parties, they'd show up at the parties, just sort of checking in and checking on. They lived in the community. It wasn't a 9 to 5 with Uncle Mike and Jeep and the guys who were back in that day. It was a life's commitment. It was a 24/7.
He loves to say God has a plan for your life. Well, he could see in the kids around him that there are plans, there are possibilities for these kids that aren't going to be realized unless somebody makes it happen. Michael Haynes is, for me, the greatest man in Boston.
Kyle came up with many, many odds against him. Did well in school, did well in sports, but managed to fight against it.
I was about 15 years old. I lived in Roxbury, and I was on Humboldt Avenue, and there was a little pool hall there. And, I figured I'd go in and play pool. Maybe I knew some guys who made a lot of money playing pool. I thought maybe that was something I could look forward to doing. And I walk out, and this guy drives up in a car and gets out and says, my name is Mike Haynes. I said, yeah, my name's Carl McCall. He says, oh, I know. And he told me all the things he knew about me. And right there on the spot, he offered me a job. He said, I'd like to hire you to come work as a counselor, junior counselor at Breezy Meadows Camp. I said, well, how did you know I needed a job or wanted a job? He said, look, I know all about you, and I know what you're doing in school. I know what you've been trying to do as an athlete, and I'd like to just give you a chance to come and work with young kids and have an opportunity to make a few dollars. I said, that's better than what I'd make playing pool. So it sounded like a good idea, and that's how it started.
Reverend Haynes always encouraged me about my talent in terms of leading people.
And so I never ever remember him asking me, what's your name again? He knew my name. That was important. And then he had a way of empowering us. I mean, he made me believe that I could do anything I wanted to do.
Always encouraging people, to keep doing what they're doing and to do the right things.
Reverend Haynes had a tremendous impact on my life.
It was a time when I was sort of in a crossroads in my life.
Made me think about college. I think I had an opportunity that I wish many other young people had.
I was the last exquisite.
I told him, you could choose your own name. Starting first with the premiers. And someone else said, we don't like it. We want to be something more exclusive and exquisite. Why can't we be the exquisites? I said, that sounds good.
It was a high school prep group, if you will. Uncle Mike was the mentor. He was the leader. And it all worked. I think that if you look around today at who the exquisites are today, where they are and what they're doing, it's very powerful.
I was elected to the state senate. I was president of the Board of Education. I was a commissioner of the Port Authority of New York, New Jersey. I was the state controller, the first African-American ever elected to a statewide office in New York. I was the Democratic candidate for governor. You know, we stand here in New York now where I've been able to do a lot of things, and I attribute it all to the support and counseling and the advice that I got from Mike Haynes, and I see myself as a product of his ministry.
He has really accomplished quite a bit, and he's still going. You know, he's amazing. I'm definitely proud of him, of course.
They were close. I think they stayed close. They were apprentices together.
As the story goes, Daddy King was a little bit concerned about Martin coming up north for his doctoral work. He was a little bit concerned about his theological questions at that time in his life. So he instructed Martin to get in touch with Dr. Hester as soon as he got to Boston with the intention of having him